Okay, hi there. This is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Women on TV.tv, iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, even though we're in Las Vegas right now. Worldwide TV Network, iHeartRadio, and all the platforms around the world. Yes, I'm in my guest bedroom right now because it's going to get noisy downstairs. I'm like, I need to be quiet with this young lady. All right, so tell us who you are, where you're coming from, and I need to know where you got that hat, and I love your beautiful hair.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, my name's Arrow. Stands for my full name. It's my initials for Amanda Rose O'Connor, but I like Arrow as my stage name. I'm from New York City, and uh, yeah, that's pretty much me.
I don't believe that. I heard you can sing your ass off. Is this true?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so. I have been singing for quite a while. I recently kind of got into music a few years ago, and I wrote my first album. And yeah, I'm just trying to promote it now and try to get it out there.
Talk about this album. When did you record it? And then did you write it during the pandemic or you had certain things written before then?
I wrote it actually when I graduated high school. I started writing it when I graduated high school, and then I went to acting school after I graduated high school. And I kind of started getting into music when I was in acting school. I kind of started doing both acting and music. I started going into the studio, I believe, when I was 18 years old. And then I kind of just started writing from there. I always played the piano, but I really started doing it more professionally when I was 18 and 19 years old. So
How old are you now?
22.
You're older in your age wise, if that makes sense. Meaning you're an old to me. That is, you've ever been told that before?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. hmm
No, that makes sense. It's your look, it's your style. You've got the Jimi Hendrix look, and you probably, I wouldn't be surprised if you sang like Janis Joplin or Melissa Etheridge if that were the case. Who do you like? Who do you mimic after right now, even though you have your own style?
Um, well, I grew up listening to a lot of Adele. I love Adele. I wouldn't necessarily say I sound like her because she's just iconic. I mean, she has such a beautiful voice, but I definitely think our music in a way is somewhat similar because all of my music I wrote on the piano. So a lot of it has a lot of violins and instrumentals like that, cellos, things like that. So it kind of, I would say Adele has been definitely one of my biggest inspirations for sure. So,
Would you say you kind of have a classic background too, maybe?
um, I would say so. I did grow up playing the piano. I never really played it professionally though because I took lessons when I was younger, but I was never really that into it until I actually graduated high school and then I got a little bit more serious about it and I started writing music. And at first, you know what the funny part is? It was kind of just like a joke, really, like, oh, let's write some songs, nothing. I never like was like, oh, I'm gonna write songs to be an artist. It kind of just happened, it kind of just with me just writing, it got more serious and serious, and then we made an album. So yeah.
Talk about this. What is it like? What's that feeling like for you when you can get into the studio? Because you've obviously been in there before. And what was that? And also, what was that like for you being locked down? Were you writing more? How were you dealing with that at that age?
Um, it was definitely hard, but I would say most of my music I did write prior to the pandemic. The album was mostly done, I would say. I pretty much finished it in the course of the years that I was going to acting school. So about around 20 years old when I graduated, I finished. But I did, continue to write songs while, during the pandemic and being in quarantine and things like that. But I would say the majority of the album I did finish before this happened. And kind of when I was just about to release it and kind of put the music out, that's when COVID happened and it kind of set me back about a year. So I couldn't put out any music really, or I just didn't feel it was the right time to kind of promote music while all of this is going on. I just didn't feel like it was appropriate to do that in this time right now. So I kind of just wanted to let it you know, kind of finish out before I promoted any music.
I think that's really good. What were you writing when you were locked down, though? Because I'm sure it was probably just like, when can I get outside? When is this going to go
Mhm.
away? let me just write. I mean, it was the perfect time to be a writer at that point, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I would say how I write, I kind of write based on other people's experiences, which is, I guess, kind of weird, but it's actually very helpful because I do write about my own experiences, my own life experiences, but I do enjoy writing about what other people go through because I feel like that is something that is very relatable when people hear lyrics or hear things that they can really relate to and understand. So I would say I did write a few songs about being lonely and being isolated and things like that. So uh, yeah, it was a pretty tough time. It was a very sad time, but I think I definitely have music that people will be able to relate to.
I always tell people it's the sad songs that make people happy because people can relate to that. I mean,
Right.
ever heard
Yeah.
of Bobby, McPhee, Don't Worry, Be Happy? He,
hmm
he wrote that because he was sad, but he also, like, he hated that song, but that became his most popular song. Can you imagine being
Yeah.
in a position where the song that you wrote became the biggest hit and you hated to perform it, but people wanted you to hear it?
Right. Yeah, that's how music works. You know, you never know what's gonna be a hit. Honestly, you could write a song and think that it's gonna do amazing and it doesn't do well at all. And then you could write a song that you don't really think is gonna do well with people and it blows up. So the music industry I feel like is just so unpredictable in that sense. So but I do think that a lot of the most successful music is the music that's very relatable and that people really could feel with their heart and their soul and say, wow, I understand that. I really get that. And, you know, you feel a lot of emotion in music. I think that's what makes people feel so connected is when you feel all that emotion in your soul and your heart. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind when writing music.
So you mentioned Adele. It's been one of those things where I love Adele. I mean, I saw her
Yeah.
sing at a private function for us for a PBS, and I like just her voice. I remember seeing
Yeah.
Susan Boyle sing for the UK version of America. I mean, of England's Got Talent, and
hmm
so I've been around Simon Cowell and all those Blake Shelton, all my friends when it comes to that. So it's interesting to see as that non performer, even though I'm a drummer, I will never be you on stage, but I admire these people watching it from behind the scenes. That is fascinating to me. I don't think I could write a song if my life depended on it. So I admire you songwriters. I mean, I think that's fabulous.
Thank you. I would say, you know, it's definitely not an easy thing. I feel like people sometimes think it's kind of like an easy thing to do, but I feel like a lot of artists are actually really sad. You know, I feel like a lot of artists are actually really hurting inside, and I think that's when the best music is made because I feel like, you know, Adele went through so many hardships and things and heartbreak and but she made incredible art. And I just think that it's so cool to turn your pain into art. You know, I and that's really what I want to try to do as an artist is because like my whole point of my album, it's called Damaged, is to even it's hard to accept that you're not okay. And I feel like a lot of people, you know, try to always, oh, I'm perfect, I'm fine, I'm good. But I feel like, you know, it's okay to not be okay. And it's
Yeah.
okay to accept that you're damaged. But what I think is not okay is to just give up and not do anything at all. And I think it's important to take your pain and turn it into something good and turn it into art and really just create the best version of yourself, even though you are damaged. So that's kind of what my music is about.
I think that's great because I always like to go into most things cold. Like, I'm a movie guy, but I'm also that music disc jockey who can, where I would have to listen to you and not know who you are. And this is good. This is good. Which one are they going to pick? But this is the one I want to play on the air because I think people would like this. And I still do that to this
Mhm.
when I'm doing interviews and putting people together. Out of Tennessee alone, I don't know if
Right.
I've been to Tennessee yet. We've got 4 million views a day out of Tennessee. This is not even in Nashville. This is in Franklin, which is 25 minutes away from there.
Yeah.
One of those things where
Mhm.
you want to see the artist make it. Like you, it's just a style, what I see right away. You are gonna be that person who is here. And that's gonna be fun to
Thank you.
see because I'm gonna say, hey, I hope you remember me. I did an interview with you. I'm like, nah.
No,
No,
thank you, thanks. I
no,
appreciate it. I mean,
because you've got style. You've got style from your hat to your hair. I'm like, this person has got it. I can already tell you have it.
oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, it would just be great to really connect with people. I would say that's really my main goal is to be able to create things that were very that meant a lot to me, that were very heartfelt, and for people to be able to listen to it and say, wow, I went through that myself. I understand that. I went through the same pain. I went through the same things. So I think that's really important, is to create a bond with your listeners that's deeper than just the music itself, but something that really connects, and where you went through the same things. And so I, like I said, I just really want to do that, hopefully, with my listeners.
So let me ask you this: how are you when it comes to social media? Are you not? Are you kind of like, I don't really want to do it, or you'll do it when you have to do it?
Um, I'm not really big on social media yet. I would say I have
I
Instagram,
didn't
but
think you were. I just knew you weren't.
no, no, not really. No, I don't really post unless I have to. I feel like I love the music. I love the music, but I'm not big on the promotion part. And that's what I really want to get better with, is because I don't really like posting pictures if I have to. You know what I mean? So I really am more about making the music and creating it and singing it and all about that. But when it comes to the whole social media aspect with posting and all of that stuff, it's just I'm not too big on it. So I only have Instagram right now, but maybe someday I'll get more into it, like the whole Twitter thing and Facebook.
No, only do it if you feel like doing it. No, you got the right, and I knew that about you. That's why I asked that question. I could just tell you're all about your music.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to. I don't. It, in the old days, and I say 40 years ago, you know, when
Mhm.
like you would walk into a room, I would go based on your energy. She might not want to talk about this. Don't ask about private stuff because I don't do that in general. But it would be one of these things. She's all about her music, and then you talk about what she likes, her face will light up. That's what the type of person you are.
Yes, no, definitely. That's, yeah, I would say that's how I am. Just especially with music. It's, I would say, because I'm so passionate about it, and I do take it very seriously. And I did spend a lot of my life, around music and playing the piano and creating music. So it means a lot to me, and it's just something that, like I said, I'm really passionate about, and I really hope that people will be able to connect to it and relate to it. So.
Did you have to? Did you come from a musical family? Would you say?
No, not really. But my mom bought me a grand piano for my first birthday, because she always wanted me to play the piano someday. And it's something that I wasn't that interested in at first, but I really did get more into it later in life. And I took it up, and I just really fell in love with it, and it's something that I've been in love with for pretty much my whole life now.
So besides Adele, who else do you like?
Um, I love Eminem. I do love Eminem. I
Me
grew up
too.
listening to a lot of Eminem.
Do you know I listen to
Really?
every day?
That's
Yes,
awesome.
I do.
Really?
I
I love Eminem. I
because
love
he's so
Eminem.
creative.
He is creative, and he's like another example of taking your pain and turning it into art, and that's just something I really love, because I feel like the most when you really want to be real and you really want to be authentic, I think it's important to talk about your life experiences, even though it's not always perfect or happy. Taking that very vulnerable side of you and sharing it with other people, I think, is very strong, and I think it's very brave. And obviously not everybody is going to agree with what you say, and agree with how you feel, but I just think that's such a vulnerable side of you, and for people to be able to, like I said, turn their pain into art and turn their hardships into art, I think that's just so incredible, and I feel like that's what Eminem does. So um he's pretty cool. I do have 3 rap songs I wrote. I don't rap. I sing the chorus, but I had a rapper rap the verses, and it those were kind of Eminem inspired songs. So I'm hoping to put those out too.
I think that's great. Hey, if you ever heard of Blondie, Blondie didn't rap either, but one of her most huge songs was, you know, a a song about rap, so it doesn't matter.
But, no, I love rap. I wish I could rap, but I can't. But no, I do
Hey,
love rap, and I
I
listen.
can't rap either, so don't worry about it. Hey, talk
Yeah,
about
but
this.
no, I think it's a fascinating world.
Talk about your style. I'm curious about your style. I'm sure you've got something going on there. Do you see yourself doing fashion later on in the middle of your music? Because I see that.
I do love fashion. I really do love the whole fashion world. I mean, I'm not that experienced with it, but I definitely do love it and appreciate it. And I think it's just a great way of just being able to express yourself, and just be different and kind of express who you are and how you are. And I think it's just so cool. So I definitely do love the whole world of fashion. And I would like to know more about it and maybe someday really get into fashion and things like that. But I love it.
What's your IG handle?
Amanda Rose O'Connor.
Okay, so you're gonna make me follow you because I'm gonna be interested to see just what you put up because that would be fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, you can follow me. It's Amanda Rose O'Connor, but I like to go by Arrow because I just think it's short and I just think it's just a better name than Amanda. I just prefer Arrow. I think it's just short and cool.
No, I like that. I think that's the creative side of you working your magic. I think that's great. It's one of
Mhm.
the things as that black guy, my favorite three songs are Van Halen's Ain't Talking About Love, and I would tell Eddie and David Lee this. And the second one
Mhm.
is Let Me Go Rock and Roll. And
Mhm.
the third one would be the Beatles' St. Jude. And then after that, I start to get into R&B and then a little bit of rap and stuff like that. But for me, it was just that hardness. It was like when I needed a go-to song, that's the song that just gets me going because I don't drink coffee, so that would be my coffee. What would be your
Right.
songs that would get you going if you had a bad day? What three songs would you have or three groups?
I would say I do love rock music and everything like that. One of my songs is actually "Comfortably Numb," Pink Floyd. I love Pink Floyd.
Ah,
Um, Yeah, I love Pink Floyd. Definitely "Comfortably Numb" is like my top three favorite songs ever, just because I think it's so different and so unique. It's not like your typical song, your typical lyrics and stuff like that. So I really like music that makes you really feel something. That you really feel it in your soul, and you're just like, wow, that really sets a fire to my soul. So I definitely love songs like that. And I love "Lose Yourself," Eminem. That's also an incredible song. 8 Mile. He made that, I think, on the
oh,
set of 8
I can
Mile.
see that actually. I that totally makes sense. And as you were
Yeah.
talking about the songs, it's one of the songs of Linkin Park. What have I done? That song I play over and over because it's just that hurt song, if that makes sense. And for a
Yes.
reason, I grew up as a disc jockey liking the beat. And then as I got
Mm,
older, I like, oh, this is what this song really means. So now I actually listen to the lyrics. And so
right.
women would always listen to the lyrics first. And then as
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's too sappy. I'm like, oh, and then you go through the hurt and you're like, oh, I get why women like the lyrics. So now I'm into the lyrics. So I would probably like
Right.
stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's always gonna be people that are like, oh, it's corny, it's stupid, it's corny, it's this and that. You're always gonna get people that are gonna say things like that. But there's also gonna be people that are coming from a very sad space in their life and they feel like they're alone and they can't really express how they feel. So they'll listen to songs, I guess, like mine or like other people's, and really just have that bond with those lyrics and really feel that in their heart. And I think that's, the most important thing to do is to be able to make people feel like they're less alone. Because a lot of my life, I just felt very alone, and I always felt like, I don't think people feel this way. I feel like I'm the only person that feels like this, when that's really not the case.
Right.
But when people
Not at
don't
all.
really open
Not at
up,
all.
and when people really share their feelings, how are you ever gonna know what other people are feeling? And then you always feel alone. So I think that's the important part of music, is to just be as honest and truthful as you can be.
So you know what's going to happen? The songs that I know, and I haven't heard one yet. I want to hear one from you, but I have a feeling your songs that you've written, people will be able to relate to them. I will be able to relate to them just by what you described. And I kind of already know.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard anything yet. I purposely didn't want to hear because I'm like, maybe she'll sing me something.
Hmm. No, I definitely will send you a couple of songs. I'm hoping that the songs will come out soon, hopefully. I hope by summertime my album will be out. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it will be good because I think that like I said, I think that the most important thing is that people will relate to it, and I think hopefully that's why it might do well.
What are a couple songs that you hope to be released first? Do you have a top three?
Yes. My top song is Damaged. That's the name of the album is Damaged. So I'd like to definitely release Damaged. One is called Give It All. That's a really cool song. One is called Ghost of You. That's actually one of the rap songs. And another one is called Falling Apart, which is another rap song. I just sing the chorus on it, but the lyrics are really good. And the rapper is also really good on it. So I think people will like that one. It's not like your typical mumble rap type song. It's kind of more of like an old school feel, I guess, maybe like a more 90s feel
Oh, I
rap
like that.
song.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, it's more old school. I would definitely say I've gotten that kind of feedback. Oh, the rap's a little old sounding. It's a little bit more old school. It's not that current, but you can really just really understand the lyrics and really understand what he's saying. And I think that's gonna really hit people, and hopefully people will love that. So
Can you sing just a couple sentences of Damages for me?
yeah, I can.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually have my piano right here. If
Go
you
for
want,
it.
yeah, I can. Okay, okay. I could sing you the chorus part. I'll sing you the chorus. Let me see. Let me move the bench over. Cause I know I'm damaged, but I won't let you to keep carrying on. And I know I'm hurting, but I am working to keep pushing. And I know I'm damaged, but I won't let you to keep carrying on. And I know I'm hurting, but I don't want to be so keep pushing. And I know I'm
Oh my
That's a little
God.
bit of the chorus.
I'll be listening to that. I mean, that made me want to cry. It's touching. Before you even started to sing, like, oh my God, this is like a hit. So it brought me back to my old days of that assistant music director. I'm like, okay, we got to play this. Before you even started singing,
Yeah,
I knew I was going to like it.
really. Oh, thank you so much.
I
That's
think people have lost
I
the
love the
art on radio, the old traditional way. I think they've lost the art because it's all programmed now, which is why people listen to XM and whatever else. And because there's still the
right,
art of picking something like what you have and saying, we need to have this right now. It needs to be like today, like to be released. And it's
right,
things where there's everybody is a singer out there, and you've got all the shows now. And I was there when America Got Talent and The Voice and American Idol started. I did all those interviews. Paula Abdul, Randy Jackson, Simon, all those people are my friends. So it was interesting to see that because I felt sad for
mhm,
other people who didn't make it. And one of them was one of my co-hosts. She waited in line literally in Atlanta in the hot sun for like 3 hours, and she's till this day she's still a great singer. But it was just one of those things where not everybody has the resources to go to a certain city to do an audition. The good thing about like right now is like what you create,
Yeah.
you have something now and you can put it out a different way. I think that's great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's sad because there's so many talented people. There's so many talented artists and great singers. But it's just hard. It's hard to get it out. You know, it's so competitive, and that's the sad part. I never understood why the music industry is so competitive, because I'm just like, why can't everybody just enjoy what they love and listen to multiple artists? I mean, I don't understand why it has to be one type of artist you have to listen to. There's so many great talented people, and I just think the more the better. You know, the more artists, the better. The more music you have, the more music that you love. So
What are you? Are you an alto?
that's how I feel.
Are you an alto?
I guess so. I can't sing high. I can't really sing that high.
No, I love
Yeah, I would
you
say
have a
so.
lower
I would say
tone.
so.
I think that's great. That's like cool.
Yeah, I would love to sing high, but I really can't. I would say my voice is more like medium range, pretty much like medium to low, but it's not high. I don't have a high voice.
You know, but maybe that's why I liked it because it's different.
Yeah, maybe, maybe, but I feel like it works with the piano, like how I play the piano and the way my songs are. I think it kind of just works with everything. So it's
So you also said
cool.
that you love to act too, right?
hmm
Talk about
I do. I went to the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in Manhattan for about 3 years. So I studied method acting there.
ah. So your favorite actors are method actors, would you say?
Um, I would say so, probably. Yeah, probably.
Oh, so you're an Al
But
Pacino.
there's a lot of great actors, though. I mean, everybody. Al Pacino. Yeah.
So yeah, you would be an Al Pacino, a Jim Carrey. Well, yeah, all of them. They're definitely all. That's quite interesting.
A lot of them went to Strasberg. I'm pretty sure Lady Gaga went to Strasberg.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro went to Strasberg. Angelina Jolie went to Strasberg. A lot of iconic people went to Strasberg. So they're great. But honestly, everyone has their own technique, and I guess it's just like whatever works for you works for you. But method just really helped me because um, it really teaches you to really become the character and really transform yourself into becoming that character. So I think that's just like a really cool way of learning.
So let me ask you this. We got about 3 minutes left. If you can be any TV show or series or film movie, what would they be and why? Anything.
Well, if I could be in anything,
Yep.
um, okay. I am a big Tim Burton fan, so I would love to be in a Tim Burton film. Because I feel like his movies are, you could definitely say they're weird, but they're I just feel like a lot of them have such like deep meanings, and I love that about his films, and I think that's really great. So I would love to be in like a Tim Burton film. I feel like I could probably do well in that. As for a TV show goes, I used to watch a lot of Game of Thrones, and I loved that whole like back in the day type thing and how it was. So I would definitely like to be in something like that. If I could, I would like to be in something like that. So
All right. So if you, for inspirational purposes, what would you say to those people who are up and coming? Before you started putting your album together, what would you say to those singers? And there's a lot of them out there, male or female. What would you say to inspire them?
I would say no matter what people say, because people are always going to tell you, don't do it. It's just a dream. It's just this. Like, it's not realistic. I would just say that don't ever give up. Don't stop. Keep going. Don't listen to the negativity. Don't listen to the hate. Don't listen to what people say, because at the end of the day, if you love it and if you enjoy it and if it makes you happy, then that's all that matters. As long as it makes your soul happy, you have to keep doing it. So I would definitely say don't listen to the negativity and keep going. Keep going.
I agree with that. And so, as I always end, I always say this: if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. So, I want to thank you for coming on because,
Mhm.
like I said, I love your style. I don't wear hats, but if you designed that hat, I'd be wearing that hat because I think it's pretty cool. But also, I like your
Oh, really? Maybe
yeah,
I'll design it.
yeah, I like your damage.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And then when do you think that'll be coming out?
I hope definitely in a couple of months by the summertime. Hopefully it'll be out for the summer. So
Okay.
yes.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So with this is Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more. We will see you next week, and thank you so much for being on.